Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. Yeah. And it's just Marco here once again. Here, not here. It's just Marco here once again to talk about Monk Season 2. I purposefully finished it so that I could get this review out there. I want to do a video every day. Because I feel like it's time. It's time to do that. I don't want to have this thing where it's like, oh, I'll do the next review, and then I'll do the next review this day, and that day, and that day. You know, I want to do it all every day. I have a new video coming out for you guys to enjoy. If you don't like a topic of one video, the next day a new video will come out, and you might like that one. So I'm doing Monk Season 2, as I said, and yeah, it was good. You know, it had some really, really good episodes, and it had some good episodes. It had some bad episodes. You know, it was mixed. Overall, unfortunately, I would say it is a downgrade from Season 1. Season 1 felt like a really unique experiment. It felt like a show that almost like I wondered like how it existed, because it was just so unique and so different. And although it did have its flaws, and you know, those episodes are very, very like average for the most part, it felt like its own thing. This season felt like, although they improved a lot of stuff and they did a lot of great stuff, they sort of fell into the average, like the really average procedural category. In fact, they even have an episode where they riff on detective shows, and it's like, you know, you can riff on these shows all you want, but like Monk is one of those types of shows. Like, this is, it's just like, it had a lot of great stuff in it. I'll say that once again. There was a lot of stuff that I loved, but there was a lot of stuff that I didn't love. And the first thing that really, you want to talk about pissing me off? Oh my god. That theme song. Oh. And the first season, for some reason with the first season's theme song, I was so mean to it. I was like, looking back, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, I thought the first theme song was bad. I didn't know what was coming. They changed that brilliant first theme song, that, you know, beautiful theme song, you know. What did it sound like? Well, I probably shouldn't do it anyway because of copyright bullshit. But the second season's theme song is Randy Newman going like, "It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there." And it's like, oh god, oh, kill me now. I'll be a victim on one of his episodes. Just please get rid of that fucking song. I hate it so much. I hate it with a passion. I hate Randy Newman now. I'm never gonna... You know what? I used to kind of like Randy Newman. You know, I thought he's unique. You know, he has this really bad voice, but he still sings songs anyway. And... and you know, his song for Toy Story was okay, but now I am just like, you know, F you, because this song is just horrible. It is just so bad. It is like nails in my ears, just shoving nails in both ears. That is how bad this song is. And they even make fun of it in one of the episodes, and it's like, you know, you're making fun of it, but, like, it's not funny. Like, it's bad. What you did was bad. You need to change it back now. You know what? Please, take all the episodes after season 1, edit and get rid of that disgustingly bad theme song that it's a jungle out there. Get rid of that awful quote-unquote music, and please replace it with the theme from season 1. Please, please, please. I will literally do anything. Please. Well, okay, I will not do anything for Dale the Whale, like Sharona would, but I will do anything to get rid of that fucking theme song. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. I mean, who likes that song? It is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. What were they thinking? Oh, and that really killed me. I was like, I wish that I had filmed myself reacting to it, because I was just flabbergasted. I was like, holy shit. I ragged on the first season's theme song. I wish that I had never said nothing, because that first season theme song is incredible compared to this one. It is like the greatest song of all time. And so you know what I did? Because of this fucking song, what I did was I skipped the intro every single time that awful music came on. It's a jungle out there. Dun, 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 dun. It's a jungle out there. I skipped that shit. And then I got my phone out. You know, I'm not supposed to be looking at my phone when I watch stuff to review it, but I got my phone out, went to YouTube, and put on the first season's theme. And ooh, that's a cool bird. And I listened to the first season's theme, and then I put the show back on, and I was fulfilled. And I did that every episode. That's how bad this new song is. It is complete horseshit, and it is a disgrace to everything that's ever been made in history. It is the worst thing in history. I hate it so much. It is not a jungle out there. It's fucking San Francisco, you dumbass. It's a city. It's a city by the ocean. It's not a jungle out there, you... God, fucking... It really pisses me off, as you could tell. I've been mad on this channel before. Sometimes people take it so seriously when I get angry. That's what I love about it, because if I'm just, like, nicely talking, like, discussing stuff, people don't care. But then when I get angry, everyone loses their minds. And honestly, this is one of the times where I am genuinely angry. This theme song is so bad. It is like hell. It is literal hell. It is the worst thing. I would not die for the theme song to be changed, but I would go pretty close to it. That is how bad this theme song is. And the fact that they kept this theme song, that's even worse. Because they were making fun of it. They were making fun of it, saying, ha ha ha, if you ever make a show, don't change the theme song, ha ha ha. And it's like, why? Okay, you joked about it as if you acknowledge the fact that this fucking theme song sucks Mug's dick. But you don't even change it again to make it the good theme song? I mean, what kind of shit is that? Okay, let's get back to season 2. But that theme song, every single episode. It's a jungle out there. It's so fucking bad. Okay, this season, I'm going to talk about what it did good. Hope you didn't hear that. That's what I think of the theme song. But this show, what it did good was, remember with season 1, I talked about one of the biggest weaknesses, if not the biggest weakness. Excuse me, sorry. One of the biggest weaknesses was the fact that it felt like Monk was the only character on the show whom I liked. And it's still kind of like that, honestly. Kinda. Actually, no, not anymore. I lied. F me. I lied. But in season 1, it just felt like Monk against the universe. And it felt like, the side characters, they were trash. You got Sharona. Oh, God. Don't even get me started on Sharona from season 1. And we'll talk about her from season 2. I guarantee you we'll talk about her from season 2. Because she gets even worse in season 2, but then she gets better. It's like, okay, too far. That'll happen pretty soon. I'll talk about that, because that'll go into more detail. I'll have to go in more detail with that. But, you got, what was that guy's name? Leland. You got, is he Captain? I can't remember. Captain Leland Stottlemyre, played by Buffalo Bill. And in season 1, I thought that he was the best side character, obviously, because he did the best job acting. And in season 2, they really, really expanded his character. They gave him a lot of character. They did a fantastic job. And so he was one of the strong points of the season, just because, they fixed that problem that I said. I said, that's a problem. And they fixed it. And then with Randy, the guy who in season 1, I didn't even know his name because he was just so insignificant and so trash. I called him like fucking Lieutenant Doofus because he always looks like a doofus henchman. Well, in season 2, guess what? He's Randy now to me. He's Randy. That's Lieutenant Randy you're talking about, Marco. So now I see him as like a great character too. They really expanded on his character. And so that's another great thing. They did a good job with that. And then, let's see, they added some great side characters. They added Monk's brother, played by John Turturro, and he was great. He was really good, and I really loved that. That was a great episode, a great touching episode, and I really liked his character. It shows you how Monk is weird, but there's people who can be even weirder. And just because they're weird doesn't mean they're bad people. And I think that that's one of the great messages about this show, is that it shows that, like, it's another great show that shows that people who are quote unquote weird are not bad. They're just different than you. And just because they're different than you doesn't mean they're bad, as in like evil people. In fact, a lot of the evil people on the show are pretty normal, and they're pretty like you and me. Well, not me, but because I'm a weird guy. Obviously, from all my videos you've seen, if you watched my movie Super Dumbasses, I'm pretty weird sometimes. But in that movie, it was a character, to be honest. Let's see, what else? Well, they also improved on Dale the Whale, which, I'll say something. I changed my mind. With season 1, the worst episode was definitely Dale the Whale. Because that episode was just so irritating. That whole episode was just constantly the actor who played Dale the Whale being so irritating and so fucking annoying. And I was glad that they recast him as Tim Curry. And oh my god, Tim Curry was phenomenal. He deserved like a supporting Emmy for that performance. He did such a great job. And he was one of the highlights of the season too. Because I was like, oh my god, phenomenal. And then there were also some great characters, some great guest characters. Like, there was this one episode that I loved. I gave it an A+. And it, I'm not going to remember the names of the episodes, but it's the one where they think that this terrorist group, like the Lightning Liberators, they think that they kidnapped this old woman, and her granddaughter lives with her, and she did a fantastic job. I loved her character. I felt for her, you know, I could empathize with her. She was guilt tripped by her evil parents into becoming a lawyer because they don't support people who do what they want to do. And but she wanted to be a baker, and at the end of the episode, she gets to be a baker. And to be honest, I really liked her character a lot, and I thought she was awesome. And then there were a lot of other great characters too. I loved the playboy guy, the guy who, you know, he was like a former nerd and an inventor, and then he became this playboy, and he did a really good job too. And there were just so many great characters. Oh yeah, the guy in Monk's Brothers episode, the guy who's stealing all the pies, he was fantastic. The guy from Mindhunter, he did a great job. He was such a great villain and a great character, and so they did a great job with all that, with all the side characters. And, you know, even, I'll say this, a bad thing, Sharona's sister was back. And I guess she never comes back again, which is really kind of odd, because in the first season, they set up this possible romance with her and Randy, and I thought, you know, Randy, you need to get on that, if you know what I mean. You need to, you're missing out, buddy, because that she was a catch. She was the biggest catch I've ever seen on the Monk Show. And I was like, come on, Randy. Come on, buddy. Stop making that dumb doofus face and get on that. Eat her spaghetti. And I think she was making spaghetti. I can't remember. But then in this season, they did something terrible. They had her come back in one episode. They kind of made her like this very minor character. She was basically there to service the plot, to make the plot more personal. But that was actually, I love that episode. I watched it twice. So that was a really good episode, even though they did what they did with her. But the other point goes with Sharona. So I'll have to talk about that separately. Sharona. But the bad things, let's get and another thing is that, oh, actually that's a bad thing. Now we get to the bad things. There are some bad villains this season. In fact, Leland at one point becomes a better villain than the actual villain of that episode that he's in. And so I thought that was trash, but that episode, pun intended, because of the trash episode, you know, he's picking up the trash. That is probably my favorite scene of season 2, when Monk jumps on the trash can and he throws trash on the road. That was so funny and so good and so unexpected. It was perfect. There's just so many perfect moments like that in this season. In comparison with season 1, but back to the bad. The villains, some of them were trash. They're very forgettable. The worst episode of this season had a terrible villain, played by these actors who really didn't act at all. They were just kind of like there, and they were like, and it was the episode that the 12th Juror. And I remember that because I got a summons for jury duty, and so that made me remember that. I can't wait to do that. But there's some really bad villains, and it's unfortunate because in season 1, the villains were fantastic. The villains were one of the highlights of the season. And this season had some good villains, as I already talked about. You know, one great villain was the first episode. The guy from Pretty in Pink, he did a phenomenal job. He was so good. And I was like, God, I wish I didn't criticize him in Pretty in Pink, because that movie was a piece of shit. And it wasn't his fault that he was terrible. He was a robot in that movie, because he is actually a really good actor, as you can see in this Monk season 2. He was so good. He's probably the best villain. Definitely. Him. He was perfect. He was the perfect villain. Perfect. And him and Monk, they had this great chemistry. But anyways, that's another good thing. See, there's a lot of good things in this season because it has 16 episodes, so it has more chances to have good things. Whereas with a lot of shows, they have fewer episodes, so they have fewer chances to have good things. Loki, 6 episodes, lazy asses. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Just talking about these lazy asses in Hollywood nowadays only makes 6 episodes. That's fucking pathetic. But anyways, another bad thing was Monk himself. There were a lot of unrealistic moments, a lot of moments that I felt would not happen with him. Especially, I'll talk about one moment where Monk wipes off an autograph on a basketball. This was weird because it implied, and now let me just give a big FU to the writers of that scene, because it implies that Monk doesn't know what an autograph is. I mean, are you for real? Monk doesn't know what an autograph is? What kind of shit is that? So he wipes off an autograph on a basketball because he thinks it's a smudge. And that was just complete stupidity. And that was not realistic. I did not like that at all. That was so stupid. And never happened, ever. And there were a couple of other moments like that, too, that I just, rolled my eyes at. It's like they're clearly just making Monk a laughingstock, just for the sake of having more comedy. And so that made the show downgraded, because that made the show feel more cartoonish, more average. Like, oh, we gotta throw in a laugh here, so let's have Monk do something funny. Let's have Monk organize things. That's really funny. And it's like, it's not. It's like, why are you doing this? He was so realistic in season 1. Why are you ruining that? Now let's get to Sharona. Sharona. It's funny because I love the actress. You know, she's really hot. She is smoking hot. And she's a great actress. And she did a phenomenal job playing the character. But God, did they... Oh my God. Because it's funny. They gave her all these great moments to, improve her and make her a better character. Like the moment in episode 2, my favorite episode of the season probably, the Mexico episode. They have a moment where she does a drinking contest to get information. And, I loved her in that scene. But then they had all these moments where she was even worse than season 1. They had this one episode, well, the one with the theater and with Sharona's hot sister. They had a moment in that where, at the end, she saves Monk's life. And I'm fine with that, because I thought, she did a good job. She saved him. I thought that was cool. That's fine. But then after that, she was lying to her mom and saying that she was a detective too. And so they have this really cringeworthy moment where the mom says, "That's my daughter! She's a great detective!" And it's like they're pushing down Monk and they're pushing down all these other people so that they can push up Sharona. And I did not like that. That was so effing irritating. Like, oh, now all these people think that she's a detective even though she's not. Like, why do you need that? She was already great in the episode. Like, I already loved her in that episode. You don't need to have that extra boosting of her. And then they did this other shit where Sharona. Oh my God, Sharona. I love her and I hate her at the same time. It's really a love-hate relationship. For sure. They had this other thing where they had her have this, teasing, will they, won't they romance with Randy. And I was like, ew. And, in season 1, they already set up his romance with her sister. And now it's him and her. It's like, ew. And it's like, that's another thing to make this show another average, shitty detective show. Have a will they, won't they romance? Ew. Like, God, what were they thinking? That was just so trash. I hated that constant romantic tension between them. They didn't have any chemistry. It's like, come on. Put him with Sharona's sister. She needs someone. You gotta give her some character. Give her Randy. Sharona can have herself. Because she, in another episode, she gets back with her husband, who's clearly like this deadbeat, loser, dickwad, asswipe, fuckface. I mean, he was trash. And so that episode, I hated that too, because it was just so cringeworthy watching him, and he's like trying to rekindle his relationship with Benji, and it was like, ew. she wants to get back with him, ew. And then the worst episode of the season, for sure, is one where she gets with the mayor, played by Styles from Teen Wolf. And he did a really good job, even though he was another dickwad. But she was getting with him, and it was like, ew. Because she started acting like this bitch who didn't care. And it's like, I can't hear you, Monk. Oh, I'm not going to listen to you. And there were all these moments like that this season where she, she's not doing her job. And, I know that Monk is a pain in the ass, which they really painted that clear. Whereas in season 1, he seemed like a really nice guy, a really great, like an inspirational figure. In this season, he just seems like a jackass, like a guy who's like F that guy. Like, I hope that guy jumps off a cliff somewhere, because he is just so irritating and such a jackass, cleaning the bathroom for 2 hours just because Leland used it once in the night. Like, God, what a dick. And then you got Sharona, and she doesn't even care about Monk this season, except for like the couple of times where she has to care for the plot to happen. And then they had this scene, this big FU in the last episode, the finale, where she actually does the summation for Monk, and then she even tells him that she did the summation for him. And I just thought, what the F is this? She had all these great moments throughout the season that I'm not talking about, because all those moments got overshadowed by the bad ones. And so it's like they improved her, but they didn't improve her at the same time. They almost made her worse. So it's really sad, because she's such a great actress, and it's sad that she's not doing anything nowadays. I'd really like to see her in some more stuff, because even though I don't like her character, I've really enjoyed watching her and watching Monk. And, he still gave a great performance, but yeah. So my favorite episode, as I said... Wait, did I say my favorite episode? I can't remember. I think it's the one with the bakery girl. I would say either that one or the one with Leland. Okay, that one. The one with Leland and his wife, where the oldest man alive is killed, and Leland has to stay with Monk. I would say that's my favorite episode of the season. My least favorite episode is for sure the 12th juror one, where Sharona gets with the mayor and becomes an entitled bitch, which was really unfortunate for her character, that they kept on making her better, and then they would ruin her, and they would make her better, and they would ruin her. And then also the Mexico episode was another favorite. Like, there were multiple A+ episodes this season, so that's a good thing. And I'll say another thing is that the finale felt like a finale. With the last season, the finale was a great episode. It was a very intense episode, but it did not feel like a finale. They didn't even have Buffalo Bill in it, and so it was not a great finale. But with this season, they made it into like an actual finale type of episode, and that was really good. But unfortunately, the episode was still trash. I gave it like a B because the best part of it was Tim Curry, and then the sequence with Monk in prison. That was really good, but other than that, that episode was trash. And so it was good and bad. Another good and bad finale. Overall, I'm going to give this season something really average, because this season really dumbed down the Monk series and really made it like an average type of show, whereas the first season was very unique and special. Season 2 of Monk is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's straight up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like peanut butter and jelly. I like eating it, but average. Can't wait to see season 3 though. I mean, I still love the season, but overall it's a huge downgrade from season 1, and it all starts with that theme song. That awful theme song. Okay, please like this video if you liked it. Comment. Tell me what you thought of season 2. I'd love to have a discussion, because I like discussing things. I like being serious. I know I'm a comedic guy. I make a lot of jokes. I goof around. But I love the discussion as well, the serious discussion of this season. And I would say that I could go even more in depth. I could do hours and hours of just analyzing why this show worked and why it didn't in this season. And then also subscribe to my channel so you can continue seeing reviews of future Monk seasons. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.